The phrases I grew up with were izzat, which means respect in Punjabi, and heshima, which it means respect again, but in Kiswahili. Another common phrase I heard was, "What will people say?" A few phrases, that's all it took to raise a girl who checked the room before she checked herself, who learned to ask, "Is this okay?" before she even learned to ask, "Is this true for me?" I've heard the same instruction given in so many different languages ever since. Calladita te ves más bonita, meaning you look prettier, quiet. Be a good girl, don't air the family's business. Be strong. Different words, same training. Every culture has its version of the same sentence that taught a girl to make herself smaller for the sake of the whole family. What was yours? Share it in the comments because I'd love to see how many words we all heard for the same instruction. In my last video, I talked about what our grandmothers knew, the songs, the herbs, the gathering they did when a girl was hurting. That was true. And this is also true. The same women who carried that wisdom also carried the silence. Sometimes it was the same woman in the same week who fed you when you were sick and told you not to cry in front of guests. Wisdom and conditioning didn't come from different lineages, they came from the same hands. That's what makes this hard to untangle, and why so many of us have spent years either defending our culture completely or rejecting it completely when the real work we need to be doing is sorting through it. Here's what those phrases cost, not in theory, but in the body. Heshima or Izzat taught me to perform belonging instead of feeling it. What will people say? Focused more on the family's reputation before your truth, without exception. We learn to scan the room for disapproval before you learn to recognize your own hunger, your own. So we're talking about women who apologize for taking spaces in a meeting, for example, or the woman who stayed in something long past its expiration because leaving would mean people would talk, or the woman who's 38 years old and still asking her mother's silence for permission she never got to hear out loud. That's not weakness, but training, and training can be retrained. Here's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying burn it all down, nor am I saying our culture is the enemy. What I am saying is we need to sort through the inheritance. Keep the table that's never too small for one more person. Keep the way an entire street shows up when someone is ill or passes away. Keep the reverence for our elders, the rituals, the food made with hands instead of Uber Eats. Release the silence that was never really protecting. It was just protecting an image. Release the shame that got dressed up as humility. Release the idea that your worth is a reflection on everyone else's reputation. Release "what will people say" as a way to make decisions. You get to keep the wisdom and put down the muzzle. They were never actually the same thing. They were just handed to us in the same breath. I'd love to hear any phrases you heard repeatedly growing up. Tell me the words that were used in your home, in your language, to keep you either small, quiet, or agreeable. Share it in the comments exactly as you heard it. I'd love to see the comment section become something like a map of the version of the same instruction in different languages, so that when a woman scrolls through and finds her own grandmother's words sitting next to a stranger's, she knows she was never the only one who heard them. You're allowed to keep what fed you and put down what silenced you. That sorting, that's the work. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. From my heart to yours. Bye for now.